You might have said yes to everything when you were starting your career. You might have taken all the opportunities to grow, socialize, and be a star at the workplace. But sooner or later, those yeses which you said to people became a burden, and you couldn't concentrate on what's important to do. That is when hell yeah or no comes into play. According to Derek Sivers, we should say yes only to those things which excite us, and the rest is to be answered no. Doing so will allow us to concentrate on the important tasks that need to be done. For example, spending time with your friends and family, learning a new skill, and so on. That being said, the million-dollar question is, how do we find out the important things to spend our time on? Here are the top 7 lessons from Derek Sivers Hell Yeah or No. Lesson 1. Update your identity. We can serve others internationally or locally. Both are just as necessary and neither is right nor wrong, but we need to strike a balance that works for us. We show what we want not through our values but in our actions. We have to keep earning our title. Success comes not from deciding but from doing. We need to optimize for the goal we want and be willing to let go of the others. When criticized for going against a stereotype, we must take pride that we're doing it right. We can imitate existing ideas in the world and still offer something unique and valuable. Public comments are just feedback on something we made. We shouldn't take it personally. Character is the result of our little choices and little actions. A lot of the things we think are true are really just our local culture. We won't see it until we get outside of it. The world treats us as we treat ourselves. Our actions show the world who we are. We need to take one small action to change your identity. Lesson 2. Learn to say no. If we're not feeling hell yeah that would be great about something, then we should say no. A simpler filter is saying no to all future distractions until we finish what we started. We don't have to always be useful to others. We need to avoid answering right away when asked a deep question. It's okay to take our time to answer after thinking. Our first reaction is usually outdated anyway. If we feel demotivated, then we find a way to adjust our environment, even if it might inconvenience others. Personal change requires space to happen. To bring something new into our life, we need somewhere to put it. Before we start something, we have to think of ways it could end. We can be physically alone but extremely social. Lesson 3. Make things happen. If we're more driven than most people, we can do way more than anyone expects. Half of our effort is rarely effort at all, but just necessary stress that makes us feel like we're doing our best. Disconnecting is valuable but rare in today's world. It's necessary to separate the real goal from the old mental associations. The perfect time to do dull tasks is when we're unmotivated. If we have a list of conditions we need to meet before we do something, we need to try changing and to or. Great insights come only from opening our mind to many options. We must be cautious when taking advice, because only we know what to do based on all the feedback we've received, and our personal nuances that no one else knows about. Early in our career, our best strategy is to say yes to everything. That's when we're overwhelmed with options. We must learn to say hell yeah or no to avoid drowning. Lesson 4. Change your perspective. To assume that we're below average is to admit that we're still learning. If we believe everything is our fault, then we're the cause of what happens to us and can learn from our mistakes. Being wrong means we're learning. We shouldn't be afraid to be the counter melody and go against the common message. Lesson 5. Realize what's worth doing. When our life feels unsatisfying, it's often because we've forgotten to find the intersection of what's smart, what makes us happy, and what's useful to others. Our main obstacle to an incredible life is self-control. Asking ourselves, what do I hate not doing, is a great indicator of what's really worth doing. Lesson 6. Fix faulty thinking. It's easy to think we need something else, but it's hard to look instead at what to remove. If we decide someone is stupid, it means we're not thinking, which is not being smart. When it comes to being creative, what matters is what we get out of someone's work, not the person that made it. We think the differences between other groups and our group are greater than they are. To get smarter, we need to get surprised. We must think in new ways and deeply understand different perspectives. When learning a new subject, we shouldn't focus on the example itself. Lesson 7. Learn to say yes. Judge a goal by how well it changes our actions in the present moment. Inspiration is not receiving information, but rather is applying what you've received. It is dangerous to think in terms of purpose and passion, because they sound like such huge, overwhelming things. Instead, we should just notice what excites us and what scares us on a small moment-to-moment level. We need to go do whatever scares us. In conclusion, we can do anything we want, but not everything. Instead of trying to carry on with a bunch of things, we should instead commit to one and say no to everything else until we complete the project. Can you say no whenever you have to? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on my new content. You can also get a free copy of the audiobook by clicking the link in the description. Until next time.